Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Transformational Travel Interview series and our first guest, Avani Shah. I'm so happy to have you with us tonight, Avani.
Hi. Hi, Chloe. Thank you for having me. I am really excited to be here.
Awesome. So I'll just set us up with a little context about who I am, why we're here, and then have Avni introduce herself before we dive into the content. So I'm Chloe Lauer. I'm the founder of Transformational Travel, and my first offering is an 8-week online program. We just finished running the beta course, and Avni was one of our amazing participants. And the reason that I'm here doing this is because my commitment in the world is that all women everywhere are fully self expressed and empowered, living lives they love, dreamed, and designed.
Mhm.
And Avni is doing just that. And so I want to hear more from her. So, Avni, give us a little bit of a background, just quickly, who you are and what brings you here tonight.
Yeah. My name is Avani Shah, and I live in San Francisco. I work in a biotech company in the Bay Area. And, well, I'm here because honestly, I am super excited to share about everything that has opened up for me in the realm of travel. Like, I call it a travel explosion, right? That was never going to happen. It's a travel explosion. You'll hear about that. I really do want to tell you all how explosive this travel is for me.
That's a
But yeah, so
powerful word. Yes.
it is explosive. Yeah. Um, and then why I'm here, right? Like, so what I want is for people to be uh, self-expressed and really having fun, having adventure in their life, right? Having aliveness, right?
Mhm.
And that is something I stand for that expressed through many different ways, right? One being travel, could be romantic relationship, that your relationship is bigger than just you and who you are. It could be your health, so all of that areas. And the first, I mean, I did not realize how impactful travel can be in your life,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So that's why I'm here, and I wanted to share my story with you all.
Great. Well, thanks for the introduction. Let's start out with the first question, which is give us a little background about who you used to be in the realm of travel.
Yeah, yeah. So, um, who I used to be, and who I discovered more and more as I first got on a call with Chloe. So why I got on the call with Chloe was because so I'm getting married later this year, which is why I'm all about the romance and the romantic relationship and everything that's possible there. Um, and I didn't want. I mean, we looked at California, but we ended up in Mexico. Okay, so I'm getting married in Mexico again. This is a part of like what I thought would never happen, right? Like a beach wedding, never going to happen, but it's happening, and
Mhm.
it's in Thanksgiving. And then I was signed up for another like a vacation course around romance, and to happen a week before, 2 weeks before the wedding. So
Mhm.
then I had this one week, and I was like, oh my god, what am I going to do for this one week, right? And
Mhm.
I'm freaking out, and I think that was like, I think I started talking to Chloe around that about that time. I was like, what am I going to do? This is just so stressful. So who I was like, it was just stressful. Travel
Mhm.
was stressful, and
Mhm.
it gave me anxiety because
Mhm.
it was. Um, no, one of the biggest reasons for the anxiety was like, my background and where I come from is like travel is frivolous, right? That was the thing. Travel is frivolous. Like, I don't deserve it. I don't know what I've done to deserve it. Like, why am I wasting all this money? Um, and just be a good girl, and like that kind of a thing. Uh, and I was like, okay, but I have this trip coming up. I have to do something about it, right?
Mhm.
So I got on the call with Chloe, not even wanting to sign up. And then I got on the phone with her, and I'm like, okay. By the end of it, I was like, okay, this makes perfect sense what she's trying to do.
Mhm.
Um, so I was like, let me just get a little bit of tips or something from her, right? Because she's obviously the expert.
Mhm.
Uh, so that's why I got on the call with her. And that's who I was before, which was just anxious, not free about it. Um, really worried. And also there was this other part of me, which was like, people are going to rip me off.
Yeah.
Travel is and that when I said that, I was like, whoa, where is that even coming from? Right. And I traced it back to like, oh yeah, like when I was a kid, it was, like be careful. And, growing up
Mhm.
in India, it's like, no, no, no. Like, you go anywhere, you need, and then the other thing about like solo women travel, I was like, yeah, okay, Chloe's on crack. Like that doesn't work. Right. Like not in my world
Right.
because I was coming from India. Growing up in India, it's like, and I mean, I've been in the US for like 15 years, but growing up, it was like you need your dad to protect you, right? Like
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
So that was where I was coming from.
Yeah, so lots of reasons why travel's not high on the list.
No,
And
not at all.
and also you see other people doing it and you think you're supposed to have just their experience and try to replicate it.
Yeah,
And
that
then
was another piece of it, right?
yeah.
So, first I didn't have money, then eventually, so that was a reason why not to do it. And then eventually I had some money and I
Mhm.
was like, oh, okay, let me just go do, the popular thing that people do and, go with whoever's going because nobody else wants to go with me anyway, or I don't even know how to do this. So all those stories, right? So I would ask like, oh, who else has gone here and who else has gone there? Okay, let me just do whatever the next best thing on Facebook that I see. Right? So
Mhm.
that's what I was about.
Right.
Um,
And then you came back and you were like, that was kind of a waste of time, right? Like it just didn't
oh,
feel so satisfying.
yeah, and I did not realize that until I got on the call with you. So it was like,
Mm.
this is not really satisfying. I mean, I would get into fights with my friend, right? So, like, I had all these questions about myself, and I'm like, am I even a good traveler? Am I a good person? And I just didn't get, like, how much anxiety it was for me, which
Mm.
was leading to all that stuff, right?
Mhm.
As opposed to, I'm a bad person, a bad friend, and I should never travel with anybody because I keep getting into fights. But it was like, no, I was fearful for my life. And again, none of this was, like, even present for me until I talked to Chloe.
Mm.
Um,
So then what opened up for you on the call that made a difference?
well, I mean, Chloe is like, Chloe was asking me these questions. Like, you were asking me questions. And the one particular question you asked me that got me thinking, she's like, well, you still traveled after that bad experience. You still went out. And I was like, yeah, I wanted to see what else was possible. And then I also so I went to India with my friend, same friend I went to France with, I went to India.
Mhm.
Um, and it was like, no, at least India's safe. Like, I know India, I know how to navigate, so I can do that, right? And then so that was good, right? Because the guard came down a little bit.
Mhm.
And when I was there, like I shared about an incident that happened with Chloe, which was about uh, this one time. It was, I don't know, where was it? Palalam in Goa.
Yeah. Mhm.
And again, that was your recommendation, so I'm so glad I listened to you in that. It was just so peaceful, right? There was nothing to do there. This one evening, we've just come back. I had no concern in my heart about being screwed over. There was just one thing to do, which was to just be and to like watch the ocean, to watch the sunset. That's it. And there
Mhm.
was these guys that were playing frisbee, and we started playing frisbee with them. And I started telling this to Chloe, and she started telling me, uh, uh, she started asking me more questions about it, right?
Mhm.
And you started asking me more questions about it. So I was like, oh, yeah, and she was like, what was that like? What was that feeling, right? And that got me. So I was like, oh, that feeling. Like, I want that feeling when it comes
Mhm.
to travel.
Mhm.
Um, so, and I was like, okay, and she pulled at that string, like, you know, Chloe, you were pulling on that string, and I was like, oh my God, that was amazing.
Mhm.
And just got me present to, I can have a different experience when it comes to travel.
Mm.
So that got me in. I was like, all right, I
Wow.
wasn't even planning to sign up, and I signed up, and uh, I really like it was like, and then even after that, I was kind of like, what? How is this going to really even work? right? Uh,
Right. Yeah. Wow. So you saw something new for yourself, a new possibility for how you could have this experience that was really touching your heart during your trip. That's so beautiful. And so then what occurred during the course? So you were still kind of uncertain about it, right? But you saw
yeah.
something, so you moved forward. So then what was it like taking like the first module?
Yeah, so the first thing that struck me was like this thing about what were the ladies? There were some
The
ladies, right?
personas.
Personas.
Yes.
That's right. Again, see, like the concept stuck, but the words didn't.
Hmm.
And I looked at the ladies, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's one of them was me!" Right?
Hmm.
Like right off the bat, I was like, "That woman's me."
Hmm.
And she was this like worked hard achiever, but like not always like sticks to the things that she knows to do, not always exploring outside. And then there was other personas, and
Hmm.
I was like, oh, I can be like one of those.
Hmm. Like there's
uh,
different ways to travel, there's different ways to live.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
just wasn't present to that because all I was
Hmm.
present to was who I was and what it had been like for me, and
Hmm.
everybody else just seemed like okay, they just seem to know how to do this, which I don't. um so that was really cool. And then there was another thing that happened which I thought was really cool. um there's a travel like style with the urban and the
Yeah, the
right.
travel style Foursquare. Yeah.
Yes, Foursquare. That's
Hmm.
pretty cool. I forgot that it was called that, but I just remember that it was the four quadrants, and where did I fit in it?
Hmm.
And I drew my square or circle or whatever that was, triangle, and I was like, oh, that's me.
Hmm.
And then I looked at the whole thing, and there's like all these other places I could be, right? Like I usually stick to the urban, curated. Like I don't really go too far, right? Like I've done one of those bus tours with my parents across Europe, and I was like totally curated. And then, or like adventure completely scares me. That was the other aspect of it. And I noticed that. And I was
Hmm.
like, oh, but I don't, there's a spectrum. I don't have to necessarily just do one or the other, or, like be stuck or go with people or not go do things that other people do that don't feel safe and comfortable for me.
Right.
So now I'm like, okay, I can actually create whatever I want, right? And so it's then the question becomes like I even asked Voucher, like
Hmm.
when we were planning our trip, I was like, what kind of an experience do you want? Uh,
Hmm.
and he started thinking that way, and then he told
Hmm.
me, yeah, like I want it to be, uh, you know, relaxing and connected and nature and like that. Um, compared to like the party, right? So
Right.
or have both of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you're living your life and designing your travel sourced from your own desires.
totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like,
That's so beautiful. And you see that anything is really possible.
oh my God, anything is possible. Like
Yeah.
nothing.